if there was an upgraded form of you, as in, like, let's for example, instead of the thing we're obviously talking about, let's go with Mario. Mario has Fire Flower Mario, Mushroom Mario, Raccoon Suit Mario. What would be your preferred upgraded version of you?
Oh gosh, I kind of like.
Fire Terrence.
I kind of like the jetpack that happens in this movie. I'd like to just be able to fly to wherever. I mean, we live in Southern California where there's a lot of traffic.
So some kind of like aerial version.
Yeah,
of
some
you?
kind of aerial version of me, or this is feeling very X-Men-y. I was like, oh, I always loved it. Or telekinetic Terrence,
Telekinetic Terrence.
because then I could move myself, right?
Okay.
And that would encompass the flying. So
I
yeah,
like you found a wormhole in your
yeah.
loophole as a wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
You found a loophole in this.
I sure did.
Just so you can lift yourself up, but also still have some
Yeah.
other power.
Yeah. Telekinetic me.
All right. I'm a night. If we're going to X-Men logic, I'm a Nightcrawler fan from
You want to
way
teleport.
back, so I just teleport.
Mhm.
Teleport Aaron.
Even if you haven't seen where you're supposed to go, you still want to teleport.
That's a fun way to think about it too. Yeah.
Although he was able to do it in the movie.
Am I just like I have to see where I'm going, or can I like look at a picture of Paris and be like, I want to be there? Like,
Yeah.
But even then, you don't know if there's going to be like a person in the spot that you land, and then you phase inside of the person, and then they're dead.
God.
It's
Wow.
it's the boys all of a sudden because you've murdered somebody through teleportation on accident.
All right, Jesse T. Usher. Mr. A Train.
He really ruined A Train for me, by the way.
Did he?
I mean, just when I was gonna just snap up that nickname,
Boys
premiered, and I'm like, well, I guess no one's gonna call me A Train.
No, not unless you want. Although he, spoiler alert, is
sure he's
good.
He's on the redemption path compared to Mr. Terrible over here.
Homelander, yeah. Yeah.
This has been our ad for the season finale of The Boys.
This is no free sponsorships here, but we're just mentioning something that's in the public.
Anyway, okay, so TT and the teleporter. Got it.
Telekinetic Terrence, yep.
Yep, all right. I am Aaron Newworth. I am the co-host of a podcast called Out Now with Aaron and Abe, and the writer for a site called We Live Entertainment, and I'm also a big Godzilla fan.
My name is Terrence Johnson. I'm the owner of LenoirTour.net, and I have seen some Godzilla movies.
And this is Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We have returned to Godzilla following 3 Mothra films plus 1 other Mothra film. So
a lot of Mothra.
A lot of Mothra the past couple of weeks here.
The Mothricians. We fed the Mothricians.
Mm-hmm. And here we are back with our Big G and another one of the guys you like a lot, quite a bit. Because we're talking Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2.
2, yes.
Is this a direct sequel to Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla?
No.
Did we get that movie? Yes. It was called Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Yes.
But here we are in a universe where there's never been a Mechagodzilla before with a movie called Mechagodzilla 2.
Yes.
Everybody got that? All right. So here we are. We're going to talk about this movie. The last time we got to the first time we got to a Mechagodzilla movie, you were blown away.
I loved it. I loved it.
So I was certainly excited.
It was the second movie we saw for this podcast, which, I loved it.
So it was the second. Did we watch it before Raids again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we did.
All right.
A second or third, right? Raids is sort of somewhere in that time. Yeah.
All right. Well, here we are back with we have another Mechagodzilla now. I was excited to see see another version of this character because Mechagodzilla is very much like Mothra in Ghidorah. Yeah. Mechagodzilla is a character that's going to recur throughout this entire series. Mm-hmm. So I was certainly excited to see your reaction to this latest iteration of Mechagodzilla, and also because it has a different origin compared to the original Mechagodzilla. Mm-hmm. So it does seem to be a universal tool when it comes to villains for Godzilla, because like aliens, humans,
robots,
business tycoons.
Yeah.
everybody can make a Mechagodzilla apparently. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's roll the trailer. All right, that should have been some of the trailer for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Here's a plot synopsis that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
The United Nations assembles the ultimate weapon to defeat Godzilla, while scientists discover a fresh pterodon egg on a remote Japanese island.
Yeah.
Sufficient for a one sentencer?
Yeah, I like it as a teaser.
Yeah, all right. Okay. This movie is I just added up. I put it away for no reason. The movie is directed
Nothing but strong preparation for this podcast.
directed by Takao Okawara, who I believe also eventually will do Godzilla 2000,
Hmm.
from the Millennium Era, and he's mainly a second unit guy. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to make sure there's no other ones I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did Godzilla and Mothra. That's what I thought. The previous Mothra film.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's where we are with this. Obviously, we have a number of movie stars in here, along with a return of a few, including of course our psychic character.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Maki? Um, but yeah, we have Mechagodzilla 2. Terrence, what did you think of this entry?
I enjoyed it. I think it's a solid movie. I think there is one thing in here that I think is among the most ridiculous things that has happened in a Godzilla movie
Uh-huh.
that we've seen, and that is coming from us having made it through Showa up until right now, um, which we'll get in, which we certainly need to get into. But I thought it was solid. I found the human characters compelling. I like the idea of people being like so fed up in this universe that they are like, we're going to build something to stop Godzilla. And they use parts from Mecha King Ghidorah,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
It makes sense. I mean, they have
yeah,
the tech. It's like, okay,
and
it's Terminator logic. We have
it's
the tech. Let's use
it's
it. For the
very much. I think this is one of the foundational texts for a movie we will get to, in 2035 when we finally get around to Godzilla King of the Monsters, the legendary Warner Brothers version.
Mhm.
Um, not King of the Monsters. Gosh, Godzilla versus X Kong versus
Godzilla
Kong
versus Kong.
versus Kong.
Yes.
That one. Certainly be a foundational text for
There's a
that.
lot of that in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
There's a lot of Pacific Rim in this movie also.
Yeah, and yeah, about the designing the thing to keep
Mhm.
you from the kaiju.
But
And
even like the human story and how like generic Top Gunny it is as
yes.
far as like new recruits and they're getting tough and they're
Yeah,
training and all this.
I liked the new recruit, and I was like, God, he looks so familiar because we saw him in Gunhead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and so that was nice to have sort of a returning player. Um, I think I was intrigued by the idea that Mecha is not an outright villain in this, given or not being used for like uber nefarious purposes, given how we
I see
met
what you're saying.
him
Okay.
in the Showa era. So that was like really interesting in this movie. I mean, Godzilla is essentially the villain because he's the one. Him and Rodan are tearing up these cities, but
Godzilla's largely been the villain in this
yeah, but I think
series
it's
until like Biolante, it's more like, well, Godzilla's gonna fight him, so I guess that's helpful.
yeah.
And then
So I think
Ghidorah's like, well,
it was
like,
interesting. It was interesting to see Mechagodzilla in that light because you know, it just was interesting. So yeah, I think it's a solid film.
I agree with you.
Hmm.
I think this is a very good like if you're trying to show somebody a Godzilla movie and you want to give them an idea of what that's like, especially in this era, I think this is the
Hmm.
perfect example to use. It's
Yeah.
not too wild. It's not it's not bad, which is
Hmm.
another possible problem. Because I don't think Godzilla and Mothra is bad, but I'm not the biggest fan of Godzilla and Mothra.
Yeah.
Where I think this one shines because it's a good example of here's what this basically is.
Hmm.
Humans do a thing. There's an opponent. There's Godzilla. They fight. There's other monsters involved for whatever reason. They do their thing. They have more fights.
Yeah.
We're done. Like that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the best version of it, but it's certainly like the most version of what it could be
I
doing.
agree.
And so in that regard, I'm a fan of it. Fun fact: this is maybe the first Godzilla movie I saw. I have a very
Mm.
it's hard to remember exactly, but like in terms of like coming across Godzilla in some capacity, I have a very strong memory of watching the opening credit sequence where they're building Mechagodzilla,
Hmm.
and I'm like, because I'm very sure Mechagodzilla was the first like non-Godzilla thing in a Godzilla movie that I had seen,
Mm.
and like this version of it looks too familiar. Like I can't imagine it being the '70s version because that's just too distinctive.
Yeah.
But like the building of this one, and it's not the later versions that we'll get to. So I'm pretty sure that like this is the first one I like sat down and watched in my life before seeing like
Okay.
the '54 obviously,
Young Aaron.
and the '98 obviously because you're a
Young
child and you don't know any better.
impressionable. Yeah.
So
Well,
so
we will get there.
yeah, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this is the first like Godzilla movie I saw. It's not one that I like watched repeatedly as a child. So it's not like I have some kind of nostalgic drawn towards it. It's just more of like this is a very particular memory I have, regardless. But I am a fan of this movie. It does have some. It's not bereft of wild things, much like the other movies in this era.
Yeah.
But it certainly plays things. I don't want to say straight, but plays it straightforward enough in a way where the wackiness of it is kind of endearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume we're mainly talking about Godzilla Jr. or Baby Godzilla. Sorry,
That's not the
That's not
wacky
what
thing
you're-
I'm talking about. No, but
the brain stuff.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get there as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That specifically.
So, what?
When that but let's do we want to stop down and talk about Baby Godzilla?
I do want to talk about Baby Godzilla. Because, frankly, I like Baby Godzilla.
Manilan in another name.
The thing is, Manila, as we'd established, like was born on top of a tree and fell down and hit every ugly stick on the way back.
Certainly.
Where this one is like
Only hit half of
this
them.
is like the good son.
Yeah.
Like, this child has like dimples.
When that tail came out of the egg, I just turned and looked to you. I said, I cannot believe Manila is back.
Well, let's back up a second here too. Um, this to reverse engineer this establishes how much of a dick Rodan really is. As I've
Yes.
said many times, Rodan is such a dick that they've taken an egg that they thought was perhaps Rodan's egg, and it like and when you find out that there's a Godzillasaurus in there, you realize, oh, Rodan was gonna take a Godzilla and eat it.
Certainly.
That was
or
the
raise
plan.
it as its own. Yeah.
It was gonna be some cuckoo like predatory shit. That was gonna
Yeah.
go on there. It was gonna like take that baby and do whatever it wanted with it. Like that's how much of a dick Rodan.
Yeah, Rodan is
It's
awful.
diabolical.
Awful. Truly awful.
He was gonna take a baby from Godzilla. That's so mean.
It's crazy.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. They go to an island.
Mm-hmm.
There's an egg. They steal the egg. Rodan's like, "Hey, you took my egg."
Starts huffing and
Starts
puffing
huffing,
and
starts
blowing
blowing
down.
things around.
Yeah.
Then Godzilla comes, like, "Wait a minute, who's talking about eggs over here? It's me.
Yeah.
It's my egg." They don't know that the eggs get born. Yeah, then there's a tail that comes out of it. Like, oh, we got another Godzilla on our hands.
Yeah.
But were you at least happy that when the child was born, it looked like
That
not Manila?
It didn't. I was happy that it didn't look like Manila
Uh-huh.
because Manila
Is Manila.
Yes.
I
And
can tell you right now, you don't birth the baby Godzilla with the expectation that you're not going to see it again. So strap in.
yes, I
'Cause it's an important
and
character
how,
in this universe.
and how this movie ends. It's like
Yeah.
now they're going off to be father and son, and he's gonna learn the way they'll learn the ways of the Jedi. Hopefully he'll be the good child, and not Godzilla just
Oh, we'll see.
trampling stuff.
Yeah. He's lifting rocks on the next one. That's what he's doing.
Oh God, is this going to turn into what was it, Abira, where they just batting rocks back and forth? So I was intrigued that element is brought into this series,
Mhm.
because like even for as wild and wacky as we have gotten in this series, it feels like the biggest swing. There's two things sort of tied into it, but like introducing Baby Godzilla into this particular universe
Uh-huh.
that feels so much more serious, and
Sure.
so much more grounded, even as it's
I will-
time travel and
I will say that the fact that this is a more serious series that they've introduced a character like this now pays off. But go
good.
on.
So yeah, it was interesting. I was happy that it was not as ugly as Manila. But yeah, I was intrigued by, it imprinted on, a scientist, and
On Maki.
no, not on my
On the other one, sorry.
on the actual scientist
Yeah.
who was in the middle of a rom-com plot with our main lead. They were.
You're
You
not
know,
wrong.
it was very
It's still funny.
their stuff was cute. So yeah, I did enjoy that.
Azusa. There we go.
Yeah,
Dr. Gojo.
and so yeah, I mean, I was intrigued about how it was going to play out. You know, Rodan kept trying to snatch the child up. I wrote down in my notes specifically when Rodan snatches the crate out of thin air and then tries to try to peck it open. I was like, wow, the scale of Rodan has like leveled up to be like giant.
It's a good because this is the first time we're seeing Rodan in this universe. Like it looks great. Like
The scale of that creature is insane when you put it, because you most people have seen a shipping crate in their lives,
Sure.
and so I was like, oh, this like an Rodan's eye is like the size of the crate, so like the rest
Rodan,
of him is gigantic.
it's a monster. It's a monster that fights Godzilla. Like it's not.
Yeah,
It's never been
but you
small.
you
Like
just don't.
obviously yes. The
You
70s.
get it with Godzilla because you know he's trampling buildings, so you know how tall he is. But here, it's like you really got a sense of the scale in a way that I thought was
No,
really
that's
interesting.
something as much as I call Rodan a dick, I do like Rodan as far as a foil,
Yeah.
to Godzilla.
I
Like
mean,
it's a good adversary, and it has it fights the
in
way
the
it fights.
beginning. I was like, I can't believe Godzilla's allowing Rodan to do
Yeah,
this.
but no, Rodan puts up a battle.
Even after Godzilla just atomic beamed him out of from the water,
From the water, yeah.
right, to start off the fight. So he started off good, and then he was just allowing Rodan to peck him in the eye, and
Well, if he doesn't have surprise, he has to let him basically get in close, because otherwise he's just trying to like snipe shots of his mouth.
Yeah,
His mouth is not the best viewfinder.
that was certainly interesting. But yeah, the relationship that Rodan has with this egg, and then that becomes like a serious part of the plot because it brings Rodan into Tokyo. So we've like found a clever way to get all of our monsters into the city.
Yeah. It's
and
like it's all that stuff. That's what I like about this movie. Everything
Yeah.
feels like there's no for a Godzilla movie. There's very little plot contrivance to make.
yeah,
things
it's definitely
work.
definitely well plotted in terms of
There's
like
obviously like
this thing is going to happen to this thing, and this all it feels like a world working together.
there's stuff later on, obviously, that's gonna like test that, because it's like here's a new element that you never even knew about before. That's gonna
Yeah,
something.
and here's we're starting to really pay off some of the things that we set up in 84 and in
Yes.
Biollante.
Yeah.
Right? The psychic connection
Mhm.
has now, it's not just this one woman. We've now got like a school of ESP kids.
Yes.
And they sing a song that affects the baby, which gets Rodan, and it's like all of these things have started to, we're starting to get we send her out into combat
It's
in
so,
like a meaningful way. We've got ancillary characters that become a part of the One Fly's Garuda, which ends up joining to become Super Mechagodzilla, which is like we're starting to all of these sort of things, like the governments have built from just like Japan to like Japan, US, and Germany to like a United Nations, like. And so yeah, it's like we're starting to really see the payoffs of these builds.
it's all this stuff that I always wonder, and I'm not sure if it's been written about or if there's been interviews on there. I'm sure there are, but like I've been curious like what the process was for developing this era the way they have, where obviously there was choice just to reboot it to begin with '84, and then you make Biollante where it's like based on a contest of designing a villain. It's like, okay, that's cool, and they're like, okay, that didn't work well at the box office. Let's bring back some old favorites. So you get your Ghidorah, you get your Mothra. Meantime, yes, they have these characters they've kept in line or whatnot, and now this basically the second half is going to be all in addition to giving us mainly new monsters. Actually, we're getting payoff to the stuff that was set up as far as these characters are that you're mentioning. So I'd love to know more about like if that was in the planning all along, or they just realized, oh, we can do this, this, and this, or whatnot. Because it's I'm not gonna say they deserve like a WGA award, but like or
are they
but like the effort is paying off. Then there's clearly like work going into how to capitalize on this idea of creating a running continuity.
What you're saying is you feel like Kevin Feige studied the Heisei Era to know what to do with Marvel. At least those early days when he was, under Ike Perlmutter and Paramount.
Well, I know we have Tanaka still around because he's passing away, I believe, after the first rebirth of Mothra. So after this era, after these Godzilla films end, so he's there shepherding all of this. I'm curious if like this his conscious decision or if it's somebody else that's just like I have no idea. But I like that it's doing that. It's giving us it's giving this era a different dimension than the Showa era had.
Now that we've lavished some praise on it, Can we discuss what I think is one of the most bonker things
Okay, so
certainly put in a movie, any movie, let alone a Godzilla?
so let's talk about it.
The second brain.
As the plot carries forward and with their keep as they keep kind of revealing things about like, okay, there's a Godzilla has it can like sense baby Godzilla using telekinesis or what have you, like whatever is tripping him up
Mm-hmm.
and luring him into the cities or whatnot. We should they're going to study baby Godzilla more. As they
Mm-hmm.
study baby Godzilla, they realize that its physiology, it has a second brain in its like hips,
Yes.
and that's what controls its movements. For one thing, as far as just physics are concerned, I'm not going to say that, or biology is concerned, I'm not going to say that makes any more sense if not. But I like the idea that there's two brains because it's like, okay, it's a giant thing. I can go along
Aaron,
with the.
please.
Hold on, no, I can go along with the idea that it would have like if there's animals that have multiple stomachs and multiple brains and multiple this, that, and the other thing, I could buy the idea that an enormous monster would have like a secondary mechanism that would help control the massiveness of its body.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, there's other stuff that's happening involved in the second brain that I get that you want to question. So because they discover the second brain, they realize, well, if this one has it, obviously Godzilla has it, we can attack that specifically,
Mm-hmm.
disable its movement, and therefore we can stop Godzilla from blowing up our cities all the time. So I forget what they call it. They attach these things onto Mechagodzilla that allow it to like puncture its, shoot at it, and puncture its skin, and
Yeah,
then like
essentially
electric,
like
and like disable
a
them.
taser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a big old taser. It's a Godzilla taser. It's a G taser. TM, and it works. They are able to disable Godzilla or what have you. Only for Fire Rodan to
Mm-hmm.
enter the scene. Fire Rodan, who's like, I'm all fired up, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let this synthetic diamond encrusted bastard take down my greatest foe slash
Yeah.
best friend. Even though I assume it's a one. I assume for Rodan's a one-way friendship.
I don't even. Isn't. No.
You
Not
don't
even a
think?
friendship. It's just like
What do you think?
I.
What do you think that relationship is? Godzilla's clearly like Godzilla's not like if Godzilla's throwing a birthday party, he's not inviting Rodan. But what do you think the other way
It's
around is?
very much. It's giving Drag Race.
Go on.
Where like to take us on a slight
Are you
aside,
gonna say frenemy?
more like the difference between the seasons, right? It's like where all the drag queens that go on Drag Race are in like a community of Drag Race girls, but like different seasons are not going to allow you to make fun of their sister that was on that particular season, right? So that's Rodan and Godzilla were on season 1 of Drag Race, and we're now in season 2, and here comes Mechagodzilla being like, Godzilla is raggedy, and Rodan is like, I'm the only person who could say that. Not too much on my kaiju brethren.
It's amazing how you're able to make that make sense to me so easily.
Yeah, it's because I was
Like
just watching,
and I'm like sitting here like, yes, okay, yeah,
yeah,
I got it.
it's very much like we've trauma bonded together. We went through this experience together,
But it
and
doesn't mean.
but it does not mean that you can
It's
try.
like,
Yeah,
we're not watching the Oscars together.
yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, you can't do it.
We'll message on the same boards later. I don't know.
You can't do anything. Yeah, so it's like, yeah,
Okay, so with that in mind, there is still a connection enough between them where they're like, look, no, it's Liev Schreiber in that terrible Wolverine movie. Nobody kills you but me.
uh-huh.
So we got to fight our fake Deadpool.
That's a fine. We've now hit all the audiences that listen to this.
The Venn diagram
In these-
between X-Men Origins Wolverine and
Drag
Drag
Race.
Race.
Yes, certainly. I think
Is
we-
there
I
a
think,
character that's appeared on both? Is there an X-Men that's been in Drag Race? Has like Rebecca Romaine ever been a guest judge?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like she
She's
has
she
to
like,
have
seems
been.
like she has. Yeah,
Somebody, yeah, they've
that's
had.
like a good pull.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
I bet Stewart would do a great job. What's the name of a Drag Race character? Give me like one name.
Well, there's Bob the Drag Queen is the first one that popped up.
Bob the Drag Queen, come out, please. It'd be
Yeah,
great.
Patrick. Yeah, I can see Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had all
I guess
types
Ian
of.
McKellen would probably make more sense. In this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, Ian would be great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Put them together. Put them together with Fassbender and Becca. Just have all the Professor X's and
Oh my
Mechagodzillas
gosh,
come out.
that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
We're pitching this now. We're taking this clip specifically. We're going to send it
RuPaul,
to Fox.
If you're
and
somehow
Bravo.
watching this, you or any of your producers, Michelle Visage, here's an idea for you.
Also, RuPaul should be in the MCU. I feel like that just makes a lot of sense too. What we're talking about? A second brain.
Yes.
So Rodan comes in.
You went on this long journey to try and distract me from the fact that
It
I'm
was
about
an
to drag
important.
this.
It was. I saw the thread and I needed to pull it.
Yes.
Rodan comes in. Rodan comes in
And revives Godzilla.
and lays. You wanted to talk about this so badly. You wanted to get into the detail.
Oh, my
Rodan,
phone is over there, so I can't even show the picture to the screen.
Oh,
yeah.
we got video. We can put a clip out.
I'm gonna put
That's why. Yeah,
we're gonna put this image.
Fire Rodan comes in and lays upon Godzilla. Gingerly lays upon Godzilla. Gently, on top of him. While Mechagodzilla's still like, they're attached and like, like Return of the Jedi. Father, please. And then basically sacrifices himself and like turns into like in Star Wars, like Obi-Wan fades out.
Yes.
The dust and everything of Rodan.
The glitter. The insane
really
glitter
is Drag
budget
Race at this point.
Yeah. He's like, I was gonna say he laid on him like Ilya Rozanov laid on Jane Hollander. If we want to just continue to pluck different threads, let's continue to be contemporary. SEO this hoe. We've got X-Men, Marvel, Drag Race, heated rivalry. What other searchable terms would we do? But yes, Rodan sacrifices himself. Glitter is everywhere.
I was gonna say, if you want to keep pulling on things, Wuthering Heights was recently out. Rodan was Rodan, like regular old ugly Rodan. And then leaves and comes back.
Yes.
Rodan.
Yes.
Heathcliff Rodan.
Heathcliff. Okay. Yes. Yes, I love this. Yes, he's Heathcliff.
Now Godzilla's like, glow up, huh? Anyway. Lays on Godzilla, fades away,
Yes.
but like the power of Rodan's sacrifice creates a new second brain.
Yeah.
Not a third brain, but just a new second brain.
Yes. Essentially stitches back the old one as we get to see it on screen.
So the movie becomes Godzilla 2 versus Mechagodzilla 2.
And then Godzilla wins the battle.
And then Godzilla gets back up. Is like, oh, you didn't know I was gonna get a glittery glow up, did you? And then takes down Mechagodzilla and wins the race. So where? At what point are you?
I was the second they said second brain, I was over it.
Okay.
I was just like, this is too ridiculous for Godzilla.
We have an appendix. We have second stomachs for no reason.
I understand, and it's not even a matter of the battle because it's like the earthworm thing, right? It's like.
Yeah.
Earthworm, like X number of. So it's not a matter of the biology of having multiple things in a creature.
So
it is just
problem?
it is the one thing that I think is so contrived in this movie. It's so ridiculous that it's like the reason why Godzilla has basically been calling us a flop because every time we try and defeat him, he pops back up. Is because there is a second brain located in the hip that we only know about because we got a baby Godzilla that was going to maybe be dinner for Rodan at one point. It is so insanely contrived and ridiculous.
How is that contrived? That's a nice explanation.
They work it into it's ridiculous, man. Godzilla
the fact that it's ridiculous doesn't make it contrived, though. I would say it's contrived.
It feels
it's contrived. It's not like that's like a
it should just
a common
Godzilla
gimmick.
is.
It's not like we constantly see second brains popping up all the time.
Godzilla is a irradiated dinosaur.
Yes, we've learned a lot about Godzilla this season.
What more do you need to be like the reason why we can't keep defeating him is because there's this other thing that he has.
Well,
he is a monster.
I would argue the reason they can't keep defeating him is because they suck at it. Because it's not like they've been doing a great job before the.
Well, and my thing is like the humans. We always know the humans are flops, right? We've been flops since the.
But it's not like
there's only one human that wasn't a flop in this entire franchise.
It's not like and
he is dead.
It's not like his fight against Ghidorah was going wrong because he was attacking the wrong brain. He just lost.
That's what I'm saying. Like we've watched him battle these other creatures,
and he's really good at it. And now they thought they had a way in, and they're like,
I think
it was enough.
It was a good
way in, but it just didn't work because Rodan came in. If anything, I think it's good character development for a kaiju for a change, which is Rodan.
I think it was enough to just have Godzilla just be badass, and that we keep trying to defeat him, and we're trying these new ways, and we can't.
Hey, I think having two brains is pretty badass.
One in your hip.
That's where God put it.
It was so.
I'm not gonna complain about what God did.
It is so. Don't bring the Lord into this.
His name's Godzilla.
Don't bring.
We say it every week.
Don't bring the Lord to this.
Bring the
He has
Lord into
nothing. This is of the devil. The second brain is clearly somebody. This is
Why would
absolute.
Rodan come? Fate.
It's a demonic idea. No, I just thought it was. I think it is so insanely ridiculous that I just
I
like.
can agree with you that it's
I
ridiculous.
I
I don't think
I
contrived is the
I
word that makes
think
sense here.
I just reject it on principle.
That
Even
you're
though
allowed to do that.
even
but
though
don't
I
thi-
think even though they make it work movie wise, I just reject it on principle because I'm like, this is
you're even admitting that they make it work movie wise. I
it,
think,
but it's so and this is kind of like grounded is not necessarily the word you use when you're talking about Godzilla and kaiju movies.
yes,
But like this movie is like fairly tight. And it's the one thing in the movie that feels sort of out of the realm of the suspension of disbelief that I already have.
I want to remind you that we watched 4 Mothra related movies where
Yes.
the core thing about Mothra is it dies and comes back to life every
because
single
it
time.
is a bug. There are
What does that mean?
baby bugs.
It's not
chilling
just
out there.
no. It's not just their baby bugs. There's 2 tiny twin people that
Yes.
sing songs and make
that's
eggs
ridiculous.
come back,
And I will
and it's
suspend-
automatically like has Mothra's brain imprinted on it,
I
so it
will
knows what it's doing.
suspend my
That's
disbelief for that.
okay. But the
Two
idea,
brains?
but the idea that the first time, the one time they introduce something new,
It's
somehow that's
nonsense.
contrived.
It's
But
nonsense.
and not counting all the other monsters.
I have a question
Not
for
counting all
you.
the other monsters from the Showa era. So 8
I have a
times
question
of
for
Mothra
you.
is not
Is this
contrived.
going to come up in the other movies?
I forget if it does. I forget if it does. We shall see. There are ones where I think it might play a factor, but honestly, I don't remember.
If it does not, let's revisit this conversation.
As in, that's a bad thing?
I think that if you're going to set up something like that, it probably should have an effect going forward.
I do think there, without knowing specifically if the second brain is exactly a major
that
plot.
is
let
a
me just,
big.
let me finish. Without remembering exactly if the second brain specifically is a major plot aspect, there are things that are going to happen based around the established continuity that I think are in line with the idea of doing things of this nature. So we'll see.
Yeah, I
don't know how
it
doing
did
this
the
one
second
time.
brain. I said, oh my god, like it's just nothing about it sat right with me.
I don't know how I go.
I think and maybe
I think if you have the opportunity because you have a smaller Godzilla to study its biology and kind of figure something out, that's a neat way to learn about something you've been fighting for 30 years.
I don't want to say stupid because I don't know if I want to be that harsh, but
We've seen stupid on this show.
it's just so ridiculous.
You've seen Varan the Unbelievable.
Yes. I've watched him jump out of the water.
His code name is the Unbelievable.
You know, I also watched the first Rodan movie, and that was terrible. And we also saw Gunhead, and that was bad too. It just didn't sit right with me in the moment. Versus like it's like an Achilles. It's obviously it's Godzilla's Achilles heel, right? And that's why I asked. Like, let's certainly revisit this conversation when we get to the end of this era, because I think there's probably something interesting to think about, right? But like the idea of Achilles heel, right? It's like we're gonna dip this hero in invincibility juice, essentially. But in order to do that, we have to hold him up by the heel, and it's
like Achilles, yeah.
But it's like, but the thing, and as somebody who has torn their Achilles, like the idea is like, okay, there's a part of the body we can strike to do this. I think you could have done something similar with Godzilla that's not like a full brain that's controlling the movement.
What is it that's throwing you off about this? Like, it just seems
just
like if they didn't call it brain, does that make a difference?
Like,
if they just said if they just
a secondary, there's like a secondary nervous system.
That's what it is. That's the brain. It controls the nervous system.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Because I want one brain that directs multiple nervous. I don't know.
Maybe in Japanese it's a different word for brain. It just sounds easier to comprehend that way.
So it's just
It
so
seems like you're getting hung up on just the terminology instead of like the
because it's
actual
a
function.
brain, man.
Why does it matter if
Why
it's a brain?
is Godzilla?
What's the difference if it was just like, oh look, under in Baby Godzilla we found if you look under its into its inner thigh, there's a weak spot there. We could use it on Godzilla. What's the difference? What would be the difference?
I think a better pinpoint like that would have worked better.
But isn't that the same thing?
No, because when we're
just because it says brain,
it's not, yes.
That's pretty weak.
It's ridiculous because it feels so. It's not like think about Smaug, right? And let's not think too hard about the series of
It's
movies.
the same logic to me. It's we found a weak point.
Yes, we found
Period.
a weak point. But what is the weak point of Smaug? We knocked a dragon scale off so we can get to the flesh underneath. Here it's like, oh, there's not one brain but two. And if we hit the second one, never mind trying to go for the first. Like it feels so ridiculous even in a movie series where I expect ridiculous things.
I think we're getting too hung up on just
it just does. I'm sorry.
Very simple to me.
I'm sorry. Saying it's
like Smaug seems like a perfect example of what would work in my favor here, which is like, yeah, they have weak points. That's just how things work sometimes.
But the idea of being like
they ever play House of the Dead and there's like, oh,
Godzilla is weak
in
his hip, or like, oh, there's this one particular point in the Death Star that if we shoot it there,
but somehow because it's called brain, that makes it better.
Because it's an actual. We're talking about something that is controlling
if they got the plans
a significant section.
If they got the plans of the Death Star, they say, "Look, we all know that there's the like command center where all the Imperial generals are. Where all the Imperial generals are. But what they don't know is that there's this little spot here, and we're gonna call it the brain. And if we hit that, then we can blow up the Death. Like you'd be against Star Wars because they called it brain.
Well, I'm against Star Wars for a lot of other.
The first Star Wars.
I'm against Star Wars for a lot of other things. Just not, yeah, like. I guess
you're trying to win points, right?
You're most well. We're hitting. I tell you, this is the SEO episode. You know, how else would you give one of your most iconic characters find out their name? They're traveling solo, so that's how they get it.
That's not Star Wars though. That's another movie.
A Star Wars story? Is that not the subtitle of that film?
I was talking about the movie called Star Wars. I wasn't talking about the movie called A Former
which we then learned about how they got those plans in Rogue One, and then we then learned about how they got
movie.
And then we then learned about how that whole situation.
This is sidestepping around the main thing I'm talking about, though.
To me,
I'm asking you a direct question. The original Star Wars movie, which I like to think you think is a good movie, at least.
It is a good movie. Yes.
If they called the porthole that they shot the photon torpedoes into a brain,
the command center.
No, I'm saying if they
were like there's
a secondary. If they called the exhaust port brain, would you be against it?
I would be like, that's ridiculous.
What the that's my point. Like you're being ridiculous based on terminology and not just like basic logic.
It matters.
It doesn't matter.
Why we have watched this creature for how many?
You're going to repeat the same thing. It's just going to build up to I don't like the word brain.
How many years?
That's it.
How many years in is Godzilla at this point? 40.
This is 90. This is 93. About 40.
So it's silly. It's silly. It's silly in a movie.
Comments. These guys are really on this point about brain.
It's silly. I might put this whole. This might be the whole.
There's the hearts on the TikTok going up right now.
It's just this whole entire argument.
We had good clips of the drag race thing, but now you're pulling in the brain problem.
Well, we said Star Wars. George Lucas, John Williams.
Clips of this episode is just yelling at each other about drag race and brains over and over
again. That should be. We should do a mashup of all of the things that we've mentioned so far. It'd be like drag race, brain, heated rivalry, Star Wars, brain, ridiculous. No,
it's our fan cam episode.
It just. If they were like, oh, there's a secondary bunch of nerves here that seems to do X, Y, Z.
Oh boy,
it is the terminology. It is the terminology. I'm sorry, it sounds ridiculous, dude. It does. And I'm willing to go on the journey. I was even like,
no, it seems like you did go on the journey and then you just backed up for the journey because you didn't like how it smelled.
I can't pull up my notes because my phone is the one recording this, but I specifically
I assume your notes to say brain in size 18 font. Everything else is 12.
I was like, what in the world is this? But yeah, it like. I do now that it is introduced, it is something that I need to then continue on. And if it does not, we shall be revisiting this conversation.
I mean, what is there to revisit? If it wasn't called, if it was just called weak spot, would we need to revisit the conversation again? Also?
Yeah, I would want to know if that would come up again in future films.
Okay.
They have now discovered this weakness in Godzilla. how many more times is that going to come up as we go along?
Well, it depends on how much Godzilla presents itself as a threat in the next movies.
Well, we shall see.
Yeah. Okay, we're back. We cut out 20 more minutes of us talking about this.
Can't wait for the people on YouTube to watch this and be like, they literally just sat there and paused for like 0.2 seconds. No, it was.
Why is he drenched in sweat all of a sudden? Why is everything ruffled up and their shirts are torn?
I do want. You'll need to watch the YouTube video in order to
start our
see.
Patreon. We get the uncut fight version.
Yeah.
Of this.
I did want to talk about the design of Mecha.
Please do.
And Super Mecha, and I found that suit updates to be very interesting. It's like obviously we're in a new version, so we're a little more rounded,
Sure, yeah,
right. And made of these different materials.
It's a fun because like the Mechagodzilla suit's so iconic. It's obviously you don't want to steer too far away from that, but you still need to make it, for one thing, wearable.
Yeah,
but also
I liked the addition of like the Garuda fighter jet that they built alongside this.
Yeah.
Then joins with. I was like, oh, we this done turned into Power Rangers Voltron.
Power Ranger Voltron. Also,
and then was fighting, and I thought that was really fun and cool. I kept waiting for the moment where I thought when Rodan pecked out the eye, I was like, oh, this is when Mechagodzilla is going to turn evil. Okay. Right? Like I was waiting
for this robot to go bad.
Yeah, I was waiting for the robot to go. Well, because that was, my previous 2 experiences.
I get
with
that.
him.
No, yeah.
And I, it was very interesting to see that they didn't go down that route. That's why I think the movie from like that plot standpoint is very compelling, because it's like, okay, there is Godzilla is very obviously the villain to these humans,
yes.
But like there's nothing, and Rodan is very villainous, but there's no like true real evil in this movie. And so it was interesting to see like Mechagodzilla on the side of the good guys and like stay that way throughout the whole time. I found that really interesting.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, it is a thing that like keeps arriving on shore and destroying their cities. So it's like we need to contain this problem that we have. That's not just like a cold that won't go away, but a giant movie monster that keeps destroying our world.
And we just know that like when you start connecting Mechagodzilla to like other beings, that is where the issues arise, right?
Sure.
Like the aliens in the beginning were the one controlling him. Then it's like, okay, now we've got this robe. I can't remember if she was like a robot or like reanimated. Her brain was connected into freaking, Godzilla or Mechagodzilla.
No, she's just
in
psychic.
terror.
Oh, in terror. Oh,
in
that
terror.
One. That was she was a side. She was enhanced.
Yes,
she was a human that became like.
And then we break her out of the cycle, but then Mecha is still evil, so we have to, we've sort of got that as like our groundedness for this character. And then, like I said, when Rodan packed up the eye, I said, okay, here we go, and it never really got there, which I thought was really interesting, especially because like this, as we mentioned earlier, like this, so much of this movie is like foundational text for something that we're gonna see down the line.
Sure.
Even down to the like, it is built off of a Ghidorah something.
Yeah. No, that's why like foundational text is a good word for it. That's why I mentioned Pacific Rim also. This is like You Only Live Twice is a foundational Bond movie as far as Bond movies have a template, but that's one where it's like, here's the big layer, here's the country they have to go to. Like it's very much a lot of the stuff that you would see in multiple Bond movies from that point on. This film's like one that has a lot of things that you would see in a lot of just kaiju movies in general from this point on, as far as, okay, we have to find a way to fight against it. Here's our major kaiju, here's our major problem, here's the subplots of all of the humans, and they have interrelationships or whatnot. There's a lot of just stuff that gets repeated in other media from this point on, which makes sense because you need. I mean, the show era pretty much establishes a pattern as far as, okay, Godzilla, and now there's this, fight it, and there's whatever humans doing whatever bullshit on the ground.
Yeah.
Mechagodzilla looks great. I agree. Both the various versions. I like how everything has various versions of it, right? There's the multiple Mechagodzillas. There's Rodan and Fire Rodan. There's Godzilla and Glitter Godzilla.
Glitter Godzilla. That's a great drag name. That's a great drag name, actually.
For like a body positive model that's coming on stage.
Yeah, anybody.
Okay.
Or like a really, really tall drag queen.
There you go.
I do want to give a shot. Akira Ifukube.
Yeah, the score. Yeah.
Is here. I think this is the last one.
We shall see.
Unless Wikipedia lied to me.
You might not be wrong, but he's up there in age at this point.
Yeah, it's
so.
like what it's. I was shocked to see his name in the credits. I was like, oh, he came back. Okay.
I remember this one has his score because it has a
I'm
pretty,
always welcome to see him.
it has a pretty cool like theme going for it. So
He's
I know he dies in 2006.
yeah, but is this his last movie?
I'm looking at it, but yeah.
He set the template that Spielberg and John Williams would then follow, and George Lucas.
What did you say about John Williams when we were watching this movie?
That he was Methuselah's age. Yeah, and they keep bringing it back for Star Wars. Yeah, no, I mean, but I enjoy John Williams and Star Wars Land. It's nice, but
yeah, this is the last one. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, Destroy is his last one. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay.
So we've got one more.
Yeah.
We get to enjoy one more film.
Very fitting one for him to be the last
scored.
one.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it will go.
Yeah, no, I like the score in general of this one. I've said last I think Mothra has a really good score, but this one's quite solid. It gets some nice themes for the Mechagodzilla that
he said he was tired out to Biollante. He said I gotta come back and stun these hoes.
He uses exact words. What else? This one moves pretty nicely.
It does. I'm glad that it was short.
Yeah, it's not super long, but like it also
just get to the point.
It does get to the. I mean, the opening credits are we're building this thing. Like,
yeah.
Good. Like that's what we're doing. We're not going to discover it. We're going to build this thing. It's going to happen. Then we cut to 2 years later. We're doing another thing. Then we got to fight this thing. And there's a good amount of epic fighting action in this movie. Once again, mostly at night. It seems like the trade for the Heisei Era. There's Heisei Era.
Amazing that you can shoot things at night and still be able to see what's on the screen.
Depending on the kind of lighting and what you're doing with the suits or whatnot, sure, yeah, makes sense.
We'll certainly revisit that.
I never had an eye problem before, so I mean, I guess I'm just fine. But yeah,
we'll certainly revisit that conversation.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does.
The fighting looks cool. Just to see these giant things going after each other. You mentioned the scale with Rodan, which is important. I mean what's something I really do like about King of the Monsters is it knows how to commit to the scale of not just Godzilla, but yes, these other things where you can't just have a Rodan fly around and it doesn't mean anything. It would mean there's like giant hurricane tornado storms going after the world because the wingspan is so enormous. And yeah, this one does a nice job of not only redesigning Rodan, but yes, making it feel like it's also able to fight these towering monsters and put up a battle and whatnot. So it does a good job with that. What else? Anything else? I mean, we've talked about the brain enough. We do have a lot of ESP stuff going on here, which I think
which I'm fine with.
That you're fine with.
Because it has built over time. Like, but when it initially happened, I was like, what the hell is this? Because I think just because of like humans' relationship with animals in general, like we understand the concept of like
just relationship with animals. This is I feel the pain you're feeling.
Yeah, this is like a step beyond that is what I was getting ready to say.
Okay.
And like it makes sense that like Godzilla over the course of time, like as he's become less and less evil with humans, like humans can see Godzilla and Godzilla's not just gonna step on them, right? But like we're going now into the psychic realm of like I can feel what you're feeling. I'm being used in battle to like communicate messages to you or like hold you there or to do stuff. It's sort of really built, and now we've got this whole legion of children. I'm interested to see what that is going to do because it's like, oh, that's interesting. I like the idea. I think more than Second Brain, and we're definitely not going to jump back to that battle that we had. But like, I think sometimes, or not sometimes, like what I've appreciated about this franchise is the outside of the box thinking they do to like introduce things for Godzilla to or people in the world and Godzilla to like react against. Right? If we think back to Showa era, it's like, okay, Earthbound monsters, great. What's next? Aliens. Okay, what's next? Cockroach people. I mean, wasn't that what they were? Or monkeys? Were they monkeys or are they cockroaches?
We had both.
Yeah, we've had both. So like, like we're
and they're under the sea.
And this one, they're like, okay, we've grounded it. All right, Earthbound monsters, great. Time travel, great. ESP, but like you like.
I know what you're saying. I just love that the next movie we're talking about is Space Godzilla.
Yeah, like figuring out how to keep it still within line of what you're doing, I think is important. But
that's why I think the idea of examining the biology of a creature you're fighting
examining
makes
the
a lot of
biology
sense.
was fine.
But
Nomenclature,
don't they dare use a word that Terrence doesn't like.
nomenclature was silly. It was silly.
Like maybe in Japanese it sounds better.
It was silly. It doesn't matter.
How does it not matter? If you're saying the nomenclature is silly, obviously there must be
The subtitles.
There must be a non-silly version of it.
Hey, there's a bunch of nerves located in this particular
So yes,
area.
so you're saying there's a way that it could not.
Yes,
be silly.
that's
Okay,
what
that's what I'm saying.
which is what I said in the beginning, and you just wanted to argue me down. To just you just wanted to get a viral podcast clip.
Because it's I'm not aura-farming over
you
here.
Wanted to you said that the award that we won is not enough. We also need the viral success. That's what he said. That's what all of you
Stop
heard.
making up quotes.
That's exactly what's made up. They heard it. They're here.
You're the one saying it. What are you talking about? I did it.
They're listening to it on the track. They can rewind and listen to this podcast.
They can rewind to the point where I'm like,
hear exactly what you said.
They can hear me say, the only reason you don't like something is because the name of it, which seems silly.
I think in a series where things are named particular ways and presented in particular ways, that presenting things in particular ways and naming things in particular ways is important.
Yeah, so that's why we're fighting Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Okay, 2.
I didn't name it Mechagodzilla.
But it's not silly to you. I mean, it's just we
made a robotic version. It's a mechanical Godzilla. It makes sense.
And a grouping of nerves, calling it a brain, makes it silly.
Is a grouping of nerves a brain?
Is it?
I'm asking you since you know all the answers. Since you have all the knowledge and you know all the things.
I feel like that's a really rudimentary way.
In the words of Monique.
Let me answer your question then. I think that's a really rudimentary way of describing.
I can't even look it up because once again, my phone is the thing that's recording this episode.
I'm saying I think it's a very rudimentary way of describing a brain.
Let's look it up.
Much like a rudimentary way of describing a mechanical Godzilla would be Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I think it's
or if you had to fight the
silly.
ultimate evil in some other part of the world, you call it Mount Doom.
Hey, take that up with J.R.R. Tolkien.
I've questioned. You have these elaborate names for all these other places. Like, oh, what's the place we're going to? Mount Doom. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's evil.
I didn't come up with that name.
Okay.
You take it up with the Tolkien estate.
Okay.
Take it up with them.
Anything else on this movie?
Is there anything else you want to lambaste me over? Me not liking?
Lambasting you.
No, there's not.
To be fair, we both seem to like the same thing. You just don't like how they call
like
it.
the movie. I do like the movie. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. With the exception of Second Brain.
All right.
What's next?
Space Godzilla.
Is it?
Yes.
Is Destroyer the final one?
Destroyer's the final one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Destroyer.
I don't know what that is. So,
yeah. No, Space Godzilla is next.
My God. Which is sure to be. I'm intrigued to see this one specifically for like knowing that I don't think they're going to do that in the legendary ones, but just like the thought of like Brian Tyree Henry's character in this new series being told that something is Space Godzilla and just like walking out of the room.
I want to see presumably Academy Award winner Delroy Lindo saying the words, "We got to deal with a Space Godzilla." And I've built this machine.
Yeah.
It's going to help us.
Mechagodzilla 3.
Well, we'll get there.
Yes.
But for the time being, I've been Aaron Newworth. I'm the writer for We Live Entertainment. I put movie reviews over there. You can find everything I do at my personal Substack, thecodeiszeek.substack.com. I'm also the co-host of Out Now with Aaron and Abe. My friend Abe and I discuss movies on a weekly basis. We just had Terrence on pretty recently, actually. We have guests on every week for that show. And I'm on all the socials at Aaron's PS4.
My name is Terrence Johnson. I'm the owner of LoneWireTour.net, and you can find my work there. And you can find me on social medias at Terrence B. Johnson.
So yeah, 2 weeks from now we'll be talking some Space Godzilla. Should be a lot of fun. But this has been
Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla and Star Wars and Wuthering Heights and Drag Race and Heated Rivalry.
All right. So the thing about brains.